everybody. Welcome back to Pagan's Witchy Corner. My name is Pagan, and today I'm joined by a really awesome author whose book I'm going to gush about. I mean, you guys know the drill by now because everybody I bring on the show, I gush about all their books because they're amazing. But I'm joined by Elhoim Leafar, and welcome to the show. I'm so glad we finally got to connect. You wrote the book Dream Witchery, which is folk magic recipes and spells from South America for witches and brujas. And the book was fantastic. I think my book has probably like, I don't know, 60 tabs in it from where I've like annotated it and like talked about how great it is and all this and like highlighted all the stuff I wanted to like remember. So the book was awesome, and I'm so glad you're here.
Hey, I'm very happy that we had the chance to connect. Thank you for what you are saying about the book. I was really happy for the book being accepted. Has been right now 2 years after that, and seeing that the book continue in the bookstores is like a pretty cool feeling. Because from where I come from, we don't have many books from our own people,
Mhm.
like from Venezuelan authors. So I always wanted to do this book. I didn't before because I know was feeling like safe with the material. I know was feeling like uh, totally sure to put that out there because taking your personal journals, years of your work and put it all together out out there is like throwing your baby to the field.
Yes.
But in a certain point, I just feel safe. And I have the great support of Hater Green from Llewellyn. She made me feel really safe with this book. They were incredible, respectful with the material because I have been publishing books for the past 10 years. And many times, they need to cut stuff, they need to edit the stuff, they need to make everything more mainstream. Um, Llewellyn was actually like totally hands down with me in every word of the book. They didn't try to change anything. They just tried to make the language understandable for everybody. But
Mhm.
except for that, they were totally hands down with everything. They not make me like censor stuff or cut stuff. They were like, if you need to extend this more, extend it. And they just continue writing.
I don't know how you could have extended it more if you tried because it's very thorough in all the best ways. Like, we're not talking like thorough in like a we're going to talk your ear off kind of boring way. We're talking thorough as in you give all of the beautiful nuances of everything that comes with this book and all of the aspects of it. I loved all of the different things. I also loved how you talked about all the different cultures and how they actually, especially from South America and the Caribbean and all that, where it all of it plays in and it was all historical aspects that I'm like, I didn't know about all this. So like it was really awesome that you included those aspects as well. But the book itself was just fantastic. And for everyone out there, this is that moment when I'm going to tell you, like, stop what you're doing, go pick up a copy of the book. It's amazing. If you're wanting to learn about dream magic in any capacity, this is a really great starting point. And obviously, it is from obviously South America, but that's not the point. The point is, it has so much great stuff in it that you're going to at least get something out of it. If not everything, you're going to get something out of it. Like I said before, my book is completely highlighted, it's full of tabs. Like, I got so much stuff out of it. And it's such a wonderful aspect, especially in the terms of Dream Witchery, because Dream Witchery books that are out there are kind of hit or miss in a lot of ways. And this one I feel like really
They are
stands out
more
on its own.
about, yeah, most books out there, when it's about the field of dreams, they focus on two things. Night magic from a very Western perspective,
Mhm.
always taking back folklore from Salem, folklore from New Orleans, but they don't move too much out there. And books on predictions, how to read dreams, how to make interpretations of dreams. Outside of the field, you don't find anything else. And I come from the Amazonas, from the Amazon rainforest,
Oh, yeah.
next between Brazil and Venezuela.
Mhm.
Uh, yeah, and when you grow up, so many amazing people, tourists. And when we talk about tourists, we are not talking about billionaires and millionaires who come here to spend money on stuff. We are talking about common regular people who put their money, their vacations, their time to visit the Amazon, to taking showers in the rivers, to make tobacco ceremonies, cacao ceremonies, ayahuasca ceremonies, bejuco ceremonies, all of this magical stuff that we do in the Amazon. And they fill entire journals and notebooks. Sorry. They fill entire journals and notebooks about it. And they go back to their lives. They go back to the matrix in some way to continue living their personal lives, but they feel empowered and encouraged after doing these rituals. And a lot of these rituals, spells and charms and potions have a lot to do with herbs, with our own sorcery, with our folklore, with our personal tribal rituals, with our indigenous communities. And I wanted to put all of that together for two reasons. The first one, nobody else is doing it right now, and they wanted to do before someone else who is not South American do it, as happens very often in these communities. And the second reason was I have the material, I have the experience. It's not like I didn't need to sit down to research about it because I come from there. So
Mhm.
for me, it was like, write me about your life. So that's what I did. I was just like taking my journals, translating from different languages to English. I have my journals because when I come from when I travel to United States, I bring all my journals with me. I bring a lot of books with me because I am crazy like that. I bring a whole pack of journals, and I just needed to sit down to translate from Guayu, Arawak, Spanish, and Portuguese to
Mhm.
English, put all of this together. More importantly, say to the people from where come this ritual. This ritual is what the Guayu people does. This ritual is what the Guajiro does. This ritual is what the Arawak people does. Because when we talk about the Amazon, we're not talking about just one small group of people. When we talk about the Amazon, we are talking about like 500 different tribes who talks like 500 different languages. And we're talking about people from Peru, Venezuela, Colombia, and Brazil who travels very often to Amazon, and they have families in there, they have houses in there. So it's like a very multicultural place, which more people just knows for um, news about how bad is the Amazon rainforest going because the industry,
Mhm.
news about ayahuasca because everybody goes there to do ayahuasca, the Orinoco River because a lot of people goes there to see the Orinoco River, which I understand because it's like this impressive giant river that looks like a giant snake in the night.
Mhm.
But except for that, people ignore a lot about our culture or history, and we have like a very rich culture on magic. A lot of our culture it comes from the dreams magic. So I just wanted to put, for me, the dreams was like the core, the thing that put all together, like the cultural glue. And it was like all of these rituals are related to dreams. All of these spells are related to dreams. All of this folklore is related to dreams. So if the dreams is the glue, let me just put together like this kind of giant spider web. And the result was this book. When I see that how big the book was, but also the fact that I can sit down to read my own book and I don't feel bored every time
Mhm.
that I read it. I literally get back to my place, I get back to my trees, I get back to my mountains, I get back to my caves, I get back to my people. I have all of these memories. It's nostalgic, but at the same time, this book keeps you connected with the root. And what I tried to do was not just making a book for South American people who talk English. I wanted to do a book for everybody else outside who wants to find something with purpose, something with power. I'm not trying to say, I will never say, oh, this is more powerful than this other thing, or it's not power in there. But I feel that we have a very strong root of magic in the Amazon. And I wanted to make this like not just for South American persons, but also for Americans, for Canadians, for Europeans, for Asians, for everybody to understand, oh, these people is doing this, and this is the reason why they do it, this is how they do it, this is the purpose why they do it, this is how it looks for them. So let me try to work with this. Let me try to get inspired by this. I try to put spells that actually works. I try to put airs that I actually know, because that's a problem that we have in the metaphysical community. When every time that you get a book on airs or crystals, the information can be really good, but many times you find like, oh, this author is recommending you to work with 500 different kinds of earth, but the same author don't know these heirs. They just know them for different encyclopedias. They can't identify these heirs in person. And I wanted to say, we have actually these herbs in there, and I grew up working with all of these plants. So I want to teach you how you can work with these plants. I'm not offering you 500 different plants. I'm offering you just like 20 or 30, but these
Hmm.
are plants that I know that work, and I know how to use them. I know that you can be very scary with using some plants sometimes. I understand that if you take this tea, you're gonna fall asleep immediately. If you take this other tea, you're not gonna sleep for days. I just wanted to make like this kind of guide, giant book for everybody to preserve in the time. But also, I like a lot that after the book came out, two things happening. The first one is I see a lot of South American people also trying to write their own books in different topics, which I really, really love,
Hmm.
because they feel like, oh, if he can do it, I can do it too, which is really, really cool. And the second thing is, after Dream Witchery came out, I'm not saying that I pushed the way, but I think that in some way we opened doors, because after my book, you can see that has been like other dozen of books on dreams, magic for witches from different perspectives coming out, which I really, really like, because dreams magic is something that we all talk in so many different traditions of witchcraft, but like nobody really sit down to write about it. I know people feel confident, like, okay, this is the South American way. I have this like British way of dream sorcery. I have this American Western perspective of dream magic. So you see all of this way of books coming out from different communities, which I really like, because I'm enjoying those books too, because give me more perspective about what we do, how we do it, how different we are, but how at the same time we're working from with the same energies, with the same plans, looking for the same purpose, for the same goal. And this is something beautiful that you see in our communities when something put us all together at the same time as community. That's something that I has been really enjoying with this book. That didn't happen with the other ones, because when I wrote my past books, they were like good books, but they were like, between so many others. But with
Hmm.
this one, I really see like having an effect in the community that I am really enjoying.
I love that. And you're, like I said, your book has been phenomenal. It is a book that I will be recommending to all of my students as I teach them and all of that, and has so much great information into it. And yes, I love that when a book comes out and you start to see this like inspiration kind of like a bleed out into other communities, and then all their stories start to come up, and it's this really beautiful process of when you get to write these books and you get to see the respect that it's having within
Yeah,
other communities is just phenomenal. So, kind of one of the things that we definitely want to talk about is, obviously there's a thin line between inspiration and appropriation. Now,
yes,
obviously, as North American witches and stuff like that, especially American witches, we sometimes have the tendency to see something and go, "Oh, that's really cool," and they try to implement it into their practice, but they don't always research where it comes from, and then somebody ends up correcting them, going,
yeah.
that's not appropriate. You can't do that because you're not of that community and that culture and that those people. So, what is something that you would want your readers and people who are listening to the show to kind of keep in mind when engaging with these Latinx traditions and all of that, to kind of keep that inspiration versus appropriation kind of line very firmly in the sand, so that way they're not dipping over into something they shouldn't be?
Yeah, something that people should question, and I really appreciate the question. Something, because this is the kind of discussions that when you grow up in places like Venezuela, well, like me, you don't know anything about cultural appropriation because our culture is very similar to everything that people around us is doing. Like if you try to differentiate Peruvian culture, Colombian culture, Venezuelan culture, they look pretty similar. So for us, it's like the same. If you travel from Venezuela to Colombia, you see the food, you listen to music, and everything is kind of similar and you don't feel like anybody's appropriating. Then I came here to the United States and I start listening all of these discussions for something that I didn't knew before, and it was like, oh, this is interesting. So what something like I, if you take from the perspective of a practitioner, what I find more important is I am doing this for myself or for the external validation of others. Because, for example, uh, the November festives are coming and will be the Day of the Dead. And you will see a lot of altars and the stuff related to the Day of the Dead, El Día de los Muertos, going around on social media. And a lot of people will do it for like the pressure, the validation to be part of it. And they are like, I want to do my altar, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, it's like you are part of that culture that actually celebrates that. So you are doing this for you or you are doing it for others. For example, uh, my husband, my partner, a big part of he is Italian, but
Mhm.
Italian Venezuelan, but a big part of his family lives in India. They have a tourist company in India for like 32 or 33 years. They have a lot of stuff in there, and they always send us gifts like clothes with symbols, and I have some status here that I could show you. I have Ganesha status everywhere in the house. They send me a lot of stuff because we have a very good communication.
Mhm.
So I have read a lot about Hindu culture. I have read a lot about their magic. I have a little altar for Ganesh in my house in case that they want to visit. We have our altar. We pray here in the house, us to Ganesh if we feel like we want to do it. But I am not appropriating the culture. It's something that I do in my individuality, in my house, in my own space. I'm not doing it for validation of others. I'm not selling classes about Ganesh. I'm not writing a book about Ganesh. I'm not making a podcast about Ganesh. I'm not selling status about Lord Ganesh. It's something that I keep privately. So in some way, I'm not appropriating. I'm trying personally to connect with something that I find beautiful, that I find powerful, that I find effective, that I find connects me more with the family of my partner. And at the same time, I'm being respectful in the way that I am not taking the bread from the table from somebody else who's more qualified than me to talk about it. This not means that you can't teach about certain things, but this means that I'm try to respect their space. If I know that someone is writing a book on British magic, I'm not gonna try to write down my take on that because I am not a British person. I don't understand their culture, I don't understand their history. So what will be my take? Will be a very superficial take. So I'm gonna do a take for myself or for others. And something that we see very often in the communities is that people is trying to fit. They are trying to fit into spaces. They are trying to feel like they belong to something. And when you try to belong to something and you are really scared of this loneliness, many times you try to force yourself into spaces where other people has been working a lot. Like I come from the Amazon many times. Like a big part of my life was seeing these white German anthropologists who arrives in there to live just for 2 weeks. And they use the poncho, they wear the shoes, they do the ayahuasca, they eat our soup, they use some of our words, then they come back to Germany, they write books about our culture. And you just were here for like 2 weeks, how much you actually think that you can teach and how much you can learn. So somebody is going to read those books from an expert uh, that traveling there, but how much is this person an expert if everything that he learned was from books and from a 2 weeks vacation paid for the academy to be there? It's different that from a person who actually lives in there. And we have so much cultures worldwide. And for example, many people like to use the term American witches, which is
Mhm.
pretty cool. But also, I really like when somebody says to me, I live in America, I born in America, I'm an American citizen, but my family comes from, I don't know, they are Gaelic, they are Celtic, they are from Sweden, they are from Ukraine, they are from Poland, and they try to connect with that, which is the folklore of that people, which was the practices of my grandma, who was the first European witch in my family. And when you try to connect with that, I think it's more powerful. The problem in the mainstream that we have is that nobody's teaching you or guiding you or inspiring you or encouraging you to try to look for your roots. Everybody's just trying to sell you stuff. Take this crystal to fix your love life. Take this plan to fix your money life. Take this course of $700 to be millionaire suddenly, money that you actually don't have. Like, if I'm looking for money magic, it's because I don't have those $700 to pay for
Right.
your classes. Because everybody's trying to sell you something, and they are more focused into selling you stuff, and you think that if you buy this stuff, you're gonna fit because that's the society where we grow up. Everything is fashion, which are the shoes that everybody's using, which is the reel on TikTok that everybody's using, which is the filter on Instagram that everybody's using, because we are trying to fit in the society, in the community. And nobody's telling you, you don't need to fit here. You fit perfectly where you are, how you are, where you belong. And you will find a more powerful, inspiring, deep, individual connection with your own craft when you try to connect with the people who are actually your ancestors. I am living in the United States, but that not means that I am not connected with my people, with my ancestors from South America. And they are not limited to just from America. My grandpa is from Turkey, the other one is Portuguese. So I have a lot of these people coming into my blood, and I try to connect with all of them. And I don't feel like I need to fit in America. I feel like I fit very well in the place where my ancestors were worked really hard to put me in this life. And I see that many people is just trying to sell you stuff. Use these shoes, use this filter, use these glasses, use this jacket, use this tradition, read this book. Everybody is trying to feed you, to force you into be part of the box. And you don't need to be part of the box. You don't need anything of that because you are a really powerful creature. Something that I see very often that is a problem with cultural appropriation is when people get very frustrated because everything looks superficial and their magic don't have any results, their spells don't work. Of course, this is not resulting because you are not really connecting with the root of the magic of that culture because you are just trying to do it to impress somebody else. You are not really trying to connect. When you feel connected with something, just to totally stop looking for the validation of others because you find power in there. You will find a lot more power meditating for 30 minutes in your house, trying to summon the energy, the wisdom, the guidance of your own ancestors, your own people for half hour and trying to use this magic to manifest or change or transform something around you than just reading a book about Wiccan Magic for Love and doing a spell in which you need to spend like $300 looking for the lunar face position and all of that stuff just because you're reading it. I love books a lot. I am obsessed with reading books because every time that you read books, you have the chance to put yourself in the shoes of somebody else and see what they know, what is in their brain, how is their life, how this magic works for them. And you can take for that, like, oh, this works for you. Let me see how I can adjust this for myself. For example, in the case of Dream Witchery, I wrote all of this from my South American perspective. I tried really hard to not put reference from other cultures, which was really difficult because but I wanted at the same time keep it like fresh from South America. Like, this is the root of the yuca that I just bring from the land. Don't put any spices here. That's what I tried to do.
Yeah.
But at the same time, what I want with people what I want to people do is read a book, find magic in there, practice the spells if you want to do it, but also feel inspired to find your own connection with your dreams, with your people. Even if you say to me, "Oh, but I don't know my ancestors because I am adopted because As a tarot reader, many times I have people who tell me I am adopted, so I don't have any connection with my family. Okay, try to meditate. Try to sit down to see how you feel. Try to see if you find a personal connection with other cultures, with other countries, with other languages, with other people. In which places do you feel safe? In which places do you feel home? And if you tell me, every time that I think about Poland, I feel, I have that kind of feeling, maybe a connection, maybe something, maybe that's the direction. I'm not telling you that it is, but maybe
Hmm.
it's a possibility that you're trying to connect with that and you don't know it. Because connecting with something is more important than trying to fit, because we are trying to fit in a superficial physical society. And while more we focus in trying to fit in the society, we focus less in trying to connect with something individual that we have with ourselves. It's important to always remember, don't care how your tradition looks, how your magic look, how your spell look on Instagram. Your personal experience, your individual relationship with your deities is yours. I can't tell you, oh, Brittany, your connection with your personal pantheon is grown. I am not qualified for that because I don't know how feels your skin. I don't know how you feel in your body. I don't know how connected you feel with your altar. I
Hmm.
am not really master the art to know you because I am not you. I can judge your craft just based on an Instagram picture. I can do that. But you, Brittany, you can sit down in front of your altar and you can find a personal connection with your pantheon, with your deities, with your ancestor, with your protector spirit, with your animal familiar. And that's something in which I don't have any opinion. And that's something that you're going to find connecting with your own root and not connecting with me. Because connecting with yourself will take you like deeper. Connecting with the people will take you totally out of that individuality.
Yes, 100% all of that. Everything you said is 100% true, and everything that I love that there you basically state, kind of what I tell a lot of people on the show is, find your practice, find it your way, because my practice and your practice are not going
Yeah,
to look the same. The only thing that I tell everybody, especially if you're starting out, that's going to look the same is basically your knowledge of the basics.
yeah,
Understand energy work, understand protection work, understand your boards and your boundaries and those kinds of things. W- Once you have all that, go find your path however it looks, because everybody has the same foundation. We just get to build our house looking the way we want it to. It's just the
exactly.
foundation is concrete, just like everybody else's is. So I love that you stated all the things that you said. And it's so true that, yes, find your path your way. That's the most beautiful way. So kind of bringing it also, as you were talking about altars, I started kind of thinking about, it's like, okay, you talk about in your book setting up this dream altar. And when most people kind of
Yeah.
hear altar, they picture candles and statues and herbs and, maybe like a chalice or a bowl or something like that. They think of all these different things. So what's the difference between like a living altar for dreams and, what can that actually be on it? Like how weird and wild can it get? Like what goes on a dream altar that would be kind of, what would you recommend people start with, is I guess where I'm going with that.
So altars are like my personal fetish. I have altars everywhere.
So do I.
Because yeah, it's my personal thing because when I moved alone, when I was 19 years old, my altar in my house, in my little apartment, living alone, was a chair. I put a chair in the corner and I put everything in that chair. And I remember I was learning, I was a Wiccan practitioner in that moment. I come from an Afro-Caribbean background, but I was experimenting a lot with Wiccan. And I remember every time that you have, the lunar phases, the east, the north, where you're going to put the altar, where goes the dagger, where goes the cauldron. But in the Wiccan tradition, you usually just put the altar for the ritual, for the Sabbath, and you take off the altar after that, and the altar literally don't exist until the next Sabbath. But I come from an Afro Caribbean tradition, and for us, the altars that we call portals, you always have the altar in there. You just
Hmm.
put some things for your spell work, you take off those things, but the altar is always in that place because it's a portal. You should not be opening and closing the altar over and over because it's incorrect. It's a door to the spirits. And in the Afro-Caribbean perspective, you never shut down the portal because you can just go to uh, knock the door for the spirit when you want something. Oh, comes to celebrate the Sabbath. Hey, bring me love to my life. Hey, bring me money. No, you should keep that door open. Just make some cleansing occasionally from time to time to keep the door in your benefit. So after that, when I start moving, I always try to keep an altar with me. Then I move with my partner, and I have a bigger altar. So right now in my house, I have like different altars in different spaces. And in this room, in which we are recording, I have like 4 altars, one in each corner. I have an altar for abundance with all my money spells because I believe that I'm not doing money spells one time a year. I'm constantly doing money work as should be. So I keep an altar with that energy marinating in there all year long. And I have an altar in my bedroom for protection. Then with the time, I start having like I always have like kind of very strange, weird dreams that I always communicate with my partner. Dreams about people that I don't know in places where I never has been, so I put in my altar like little mirrors. I put a pendulum in case I want to do some scrying in the night. I have a glass with water made of obsidian. I put some stuff in there. I remember not to put candles in there because you're gonna go to sleep. But everything related with dreams, I try to put in that space. And with the time, when we move from an apartment to another, I remember, oh, this is my dreams altar. I put it in a box, and I put in the box dreams altar, which was the first time that I used the term. Then when we arrive in the house and we start setting up everything in the house, oh, this is my dreams altar, and I put it again in the new bedroom. Oh, I want my dreams altar in the direction of the west, which is related with the water, with the dreams, with emotions, blah blah blah. And I want to put in there a bowl with water to absorb any bad energy while I'm sleeping. And I'm gonna put a circle mirror in there. I'm gonna put some aromatic candles that I can burn in the morning and turn off in the night when I go to sleep. Everything related with dreams, plans for dreaming, my cup of tea of chamomile to go to sleep goes into that altar. Everything related with dreams interpretation, with the sleeping, everything goes in there. So that was just a thing that I just like keep for myself. And when I was writing the book, I think that was idea actually of my partner who told me you wrote about the dream altar, and I was thinking, it's actually a good idea.
Mhm.
So I recommend people what kind of things you can put according to your own tradition, because obviously if you are Santero or if you practice voodoo, you have different items related with dreams. The idea is everything that you want to do with dreams magic, don't put it in other altars in the house where you have more active energy, like in the kitchen. Just keep it in the bedroom in a small space. Like if you feel in danger while you go to sleep, you feel like somebody's cursing you, hexing you, sending you something, sending you a fetch spirit or something, keep that spirit protector in that altar. If you feel that sometimes you are having too many nightmares in a row, try to have a small mirror in there so you can wake up in the night and see in the mirror, enchant the mirror with a little chant to see if you can see something in the mirror. I remember that something that I borrowed from my mom because my mom had this mirror with a pink things decoration in her bedroom that she never take off. And my dad always hate having a mirror in the bedroom. Well, my mom always said that if she wakes up in the night, she wants to see who is bothering her because my mom is one of those witches who is always in a war with somebody.
Mhm.
She's that kind of person. And she wants to wake up and she always say, oh, I see this spirit, I see this person, I see this anima reflected in the mirror and looks like this, works like this, was moving like this. She's very descriptive on that. And I borrowed that idea to keep always a small mirror in my altar that I put a little chant in there from my own inspiration. And for example, if you want to start from zero, uh, a common herb that we all witches work, I think, uh, in South America and here in North America is mugwort, which is related with clairvoyance, clarividencia, clarity, dreams. You can make an infusion of mugwort or artemisia and use that infusion to clean the mirror and keep that mirror in that little altar. And every time that you try to reflect about a dream that you have or a nightmare that you have in the night, just go directly to that mirror and see in the reflection of the mirror if you can catch something. If you have a dream journal to write down your dreams and night experiences, try to keep that journal next to the mirror in your dream altar. If you like in the mornings to light a candle, for your bedroom, keep that candle for a very specific smell, for a very specific fragrance, lemon, lilac, whatever, in that space. If you feel that you're gonna need some extra protection tonight, put some roses and put some roses in that space because that space is gonna be marinating in that energy, connecting with you while you sleep in the night and gonna keep you protected. It's like having a camera around you 24/7 watching you whether you are sleeping or you are awake, that altar is protecting you in one way or another. Whatever you are sleeping, whatever you are in the bed, whatever you are in your work, that altar is still working 24/7.
Mhm. That's honestly, having mirrors on altars is one of those things for, like, my own personal practice, and I'm just like, no, I'm not good with that. It weirds me out, but not in, like, a bad way. It's just one of those things where I'm just like, I don't need to know if something's lurking behind me because usually I feel it before I see it, so I don't need to
Yeah,
see it before I feel it. But I love that having multiple
I
altars because
totally
I have so
understand.
many. It's not even funny. I have, like, literally one sitting
I
right here
totally
above my
understand you.
computer too.
Yeah, the thing is, I learned magic in the hard way because my mom is a practitioner, and I always talk about my mom because my mom is like the most impressive witch that I know. Even my husband, when I told him to meet my mom, he was like kind of nervous for all the stories that I say to him. She invited us to go to the river to make a cleansing
Mhm.
because we were trying to get our visas to come to the United States. We were having troubles with the visas and passports and the stuff. My mom, she's that kind of witch that you just meet her and you feel like when we talk about witches in books, this is a stereotype. This is a witch that people is talking to. She's like a witch 24/7. For the moment that she wakes up in the morning, how she dresses, how she walks, how she talks, it's like entirely the embodiment of witchcraft, brujeria, sorcery. That's her. And she's not, and when I'm talking about, oh, we need to fix passports and visas and we need more paperwork and the stuff, normal people comes to you, oh, you need to talk with this person who is a lawyer. Oh, I know this person who is a lawyer. Oh, I know this person who can help you with the paperwork. My mom is immediately like, let me take you to La Mariposa. La Mariposa is this giant river connections around a mountain in Caracas, in Venezuela,
Mhm.
which is very famous for witchcraft practices. If you Google about it, you will gonna find a lot of pictures related to that. And commonly practitioners go there. It's like our little Salem in Venezuela. My mom
Okay.
had this giant alta apartment in there. And she's like, gonna take you there for to make a cleansing, and we're gonna smoke tobaccos, and we're gonna do these reventamientos, which is a special candle that she fills with this black dust. I don't remember the name. This black dust that explodes when catch fire,
Mhm.
uh, like like TNT in the comics.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
She filled the candles with yeah, she filled the candles with and the candle at a certain point explode. It's a form to break forces. She is that kind of witch. She's radical. And she take us in there. And in the moment that my husband met her, he was like, wow, that's your mom. Yeah, that's my mom. And all the way driving, she was talking and he was so impressed. Because my mom is that kind of person who just sit down with you and you can never lie to her because she have all her spirits talking to her 24/7. You, when you are just inventing the lie, she knows the truth and she knows the end. She knows what's the reason why you are lying and she knows how to take the truth out of your mouth in one way or another, which is really annoying. And she takes us to the river, we make the cleansing, all of that. And purpose of the universe, visas, passports, everything was approved like 3 weeks later. And when my husband met her, he always mentioned like, you are both so different because you are like more earthly energy, more a bit more grounded. And she's like this fire, this volcano. And other people who have met her say the same. Yeah, your mom is like this candle that is on fire doing magic because she's like doing spells 24/7. She's always working with the spirits, summoning animals. I was like 12 years old when she put in my hands that famous book of San Cyprian.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, we need to work with San Cyprian because he's el conde de las brujas, like the master of the witches and brujos. And things like, for example, what you are mentioning about the mirrors, I'm not happy having mirrors around because I feel very scary. Like every time that I walk around, I feel like somebody's watching me from the mirror. Maybe it's her, but she's the kind of person who forces you to do these kind of things because she's not flexible at all. She's like, we need to do these things. I remember every time that she had a customer coming to her for healing, for love magic, for I have this enemy on my work. This person is trying to fire me from my job. My mom is not the person playing around by the rules. Like, oh, we're gonna do some healing and we're gonna put some candles and we're gonna meditate about it. She's totally not like me. I always try to flex the rules how much I can until you take me to the extreme. If I need to go a bit more extreme, I try to do it, but I always try to go soft at first. My mom, she goes directly to the jugular. Oh, this person is trying to fire you. Let me do this spell, and that person gonna get fired. And we are like, karma. We can read all that stuff, and she's like, no, no, I don't have time to waste on that. This person is trying to fire you. This person is an imbecile. I'm gonna pull him outside, and that happens. When I am like, oh, I have this situation with that person, my sisters and I, we have this personal rule that we never go to our mom for help until we really need it because
Mm-hmm.
she's radical. We are like, oh, this person is, giving me a hard time at work. I do a protection spell. I put some chance in my job. I try to keep everything like very calmly, very grounded. I try to talk with the person like two grown ups. My mom immediately is like, oh, let me take this black candle. I'm gonna put a jar of peace. I have here the hair of my black cat, and I'm gonna wait until midnight, and I'm gonna put all of this together with some oils, and you see her making holes in the candle, summoning spirits, cursing people, 24/7. So if, when you grow up with a person like that, you learn or learn. It's not another option. And when you mentioned to me, oh, I don't like the mirrors around. Me either, but she forced me to do it. And now it's something that I can avoid. For example, you always do this thing that I always say to people, don't care which is your level, always do a magical circle. Don't care if you have 30 years of experience, 40 years, because my mom teach me while more powerful you are, more powerful are the spirits that are feeling you, that you are attracting. And every time that you are doing a spell, these more powerful entities of whom nobody has writing about it because they don't present themselves to everybody, they're gonna come for you because they feel, oh, this is the perfect medium that I'm looking for. This is my perfect anchor. And they're gonna try to scare you and they're gonna try to use you. So you always protect yourself. My mom started learning witchcraft and magic when she was like 13 because my grandma was very sick and she helped her. And my mom has been all her life practicing magic. And now she's like 65 and she continues doing circles for her spell casting. When you see that someone who is so qualified and in some way terrifying, continue protecting herself in that way, you learn like, okay, I am 40 years old, I need to continue protecting myself because people who have more knowledge, more practice, more experience than me continue being in some way scared of things that are out there. So I need to continue doing it. And that's the kind of things that she's like forced me a lot, but at the same time, I'm grateful because she made me a better practitioner, a better sorcerer, a better magician. Always having like plan B, plan C, plan D. Always keep all these protections around your house. Keep a small bottle of protective salt in your restroom, keep all of these different amulets and charms under your bed. Like the house is totally super protected, and this thanks to her because I think the best witches are people like her who force you to learn outside of what you want to learn, outside of your comfort zone.
I love that, and I think that your mom and I would probably get along really well because I'm kind of the same way when it comes to my kids. Like, my kids will be like, "Okay, I have this
Yeah,
thing," and I'm like, "Okay, do we need to talk about this or who am I hexing?" And they're like, "Okay, we don't need to go to the hex
yeah, that's
yet."
totally her.
And, like, my son had a roommate issue for a while, and he kinda finally was just like, "I can't deal with her anymore," and I'm like, "Do you want me to handle it?" And he goes, "Are we talking like you're gonna go talk to her or you're gonna hex her?" And I said, "Both." I said, "One way, she's
Yeah,
gonna cry either direction, so pick a direction." He goes,
yeah,
"I don't want you to talk to her because she might call the cops on you." And I'm like, "I wouldn't make her call the cops on me. I'm not that mean." Mostly, but
yeah,
I said, "I can definitely hex her and make her leave you alone." He goes, "Let's go with that option." And then literally I go to the kitchen and I'm starting to, like, prepare this hex. He goes, "Oh, you mean right now?" And I said, "Yeah, right now.
yeah,
You asked." And he's like,
yeah,
"Okay." So I, prepare this hex and he was just like, "What are you doing with the lemon and why do you have that? And what are you doing?" And I was like, "Shh, don't ask. Just write her name down and hand it to me when you're done. Thank you." So he's like,
yeah. So
"Okay."
something, yeah, something that I used to say to people all the time because we live in this age where mainstream is all love and light, thoughts and prayers, new age stuff. Always say to people is buy books on voodoo and hoodoo, and they are like, no, because I don't practice with that. Even if you don't practice with that, if you find a charm out there in the streets or somebody comes helping you, you can heal someone who is sick if you don't understand the sickness, if you don't
Mhm.
understand what illness they have. You need to understand these kind of things. I have some kind of dark stories that I can share here in the podcast, but I have seen some things around when I was children growing up with my mom, and she always knew what to do, was more qualified than me in that aspect because when customers comes to me when I was like 17, 18, I was like, oh, let me try to put some loving, healing, good energy spell here. Take this crystal, let me make this charm, like trying to be more positive. But my mom is, she goes to her and you show her like, oh, I wake up with this mark in my arm, or I have this specific nightmare, and she immediately knew, oh, somebody's doing this to you. You need to go to your house, so you're gonna find this and this and this hiding behind your bed. And people is like, no, nobody comes to my house. And when people do it, they actually find the stuff. One story that I can share that is not so dark. I remember my mom says to somebody, she was smoking some tobacco, and she says to this woman, somebody put a lampara. A lampara is like a bottle with stuff inside related to you to curse you. And the worst lampara voodoo spell that somebody can do to you is something that have your items, but also is in your house. Even it's worse if you accept it like a gift, like I give you a gift, and in the moment that you accept it and you have it in your hands, it's really powerful because you're accepting the course. Even if you think it's a gift, you are accepting it with your hand and you are embracing it. And it's like your body is filled with your soul, with your spirit, and with your will. In the moment that your hands close and you accept the gift, you are claiming this is mine. My mom says to this woman, "Oh, this person is a person is living in your house who looks like this, walks like this, talking this way." And she was like, "No, that's my sister. That's not happening." And my mom was like, you need to check in your bed. You're gonna find a bottle. This lampara looks like this, smell like this. Open it, throw that in the toilet, and you're gonna bring me the bottle, and then gonna burn that in a bonfire with glass in the river." And she was like, no, that's not happening. And like the next day, she immediately was calling. And I remember that because I am the person who take the phone when was ringing. And she was immediately told me, pass me to your mom. And I was like, oh, mom, it's this person. Uh, my mom was just smiling in the phone. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay, see you there. Bye. And then she immediately told me, "Oh, she find the bottle. Uh, the bottle was hiding inside of her pillow, and the bottle had pictures of her, hair of hair, a different stuff of hair. I have some spices, have a lot of black pepper inside, and have some symbols like some sigils drawn around the bottle that she suspected was made with her own blood from her period. And she told to my mom, this I didn't knew what was this bottle. I remember that my sister gave me this bottle when I met her because it was a protection. And months later, she came to the house. She asked me for a pillow to sleep in the couch. She is sleeping there for like 3 nights in my house. Then I get back the pillow, and I have been sleeping with that pillow in my bedroom for like a year. And now I'm separated from my husband. I lost my job. I am very close to lose my house. My children don't want to talk with me. They practically hate me. I feel terrible all the time. And my mom says, "Yeah, she cursed you. Your own sister cursed you. Give you this thing that was a protection. You accepted. And then months later, she comes to your house. She put the bottle inside of your pillow, and you have been literally sleeping over your hex all this time."
Wow. And now I'm sitting here listening to this
While
story
all of that
about
was
this.
happening,
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, while all of that was happening, I, yeah, while all of that was happening, I was just reading in my books how to help this person with a protection spell. So I was like, wow. So with her, I learned all of that, and the thing that how I am right now, I am like, I try to be like, I always say I'm not the smartest person, but I always try to be the more grounded person in the situation, especially when it's about magic and sorcery. I always try to see what is happening here, what is happening in the situation. You think that you are hex. Why? Which symptoms do you have? So let me do some divination. Let me not just assume that I know, and I'm gonna check what is happening. And if I need to consult with somebody else, I immediately obviously call my mom, and she always tell me, "Oh, this is happening. You're gonna solve it in this way or in this way or in that way." Uh, like trying to create a powerful connection in there. But it's something that you learn after many years of practice. While more you think that you know, the less actually you know. You always will continue learning, and that's the reason why I appreciate so much that we have a very big industry of books, because I have been learning about voodoo, hoodoo, fetch magic, astrology from so many different perspectives that actually enrich more my craft. Even if I don't know what that other person is practicing, if a customer comes to me, I feel very qualified to help them because I know how the course was made, and that's something really important. You need to learn how to hex, you need to learn how to course, because when you learn that, you are more qualified to protect people because you know against what you are protecting the people.
Right. It's like you can't really like defend yourself until you kind of understand it. When I was going to school for massage therapy, the first thing that they taught us was you need to understand how this can hurt somebody so you don't actively hurt them.
Yeah,
That was the first thing. They basically taught us how to hurt people before we could actually heal people. And so I kind of
yeah,
attribute that to like hexes and curses and all that. But you were sitting there talking about like, that you can accept a gift thinking it's a gift and all that. And like the older I get in my witchcraft practice, if somebody I don't trust explicitly tries to give me a gift and I'm like, why? Like, why are you giving this to me? I get so, and
yeah,
I just thought it was literally, I have trust issues because, trauma, but like, I also am over here going, is that like my ancestors going, don't do that, girl. Don't do that. No, no, no. No, no, no.
yeah,
Like my Latinx ancestors are her going, no, don't touch it.
yeah,
And there are
yeah.
literal
And
times that that happens.
something that I do when people give me gifts always is I make this exercise that after so much like neuro linguistic PL,
Mhm.
I do it automatically when people give me something in my hands. I try to visualize like super fast without saying anything. I try to visualize like a shield made of energy around my hand that is impenetrable. I take the gift and I say thank you. I put it aside, and when the person is not around, don't care who is, I try to cleanse the object and then I open it to use to see what it is. But pass for all the filters. I don't accept it like immediately. Oh, thank you for this t-shirt. Let me put on me. No, I'm more like, oh, thank you. I don't even close the hand. I just say, thank you. I see it. I try to visualize some energy around. I put it aside. And when the person is not around, I put, some smoosh around. I try to burn some cinnamon, some stuff, frankincense, whatever I have at hand. And then after that, oh, maybe now I can use it.
I love that. And I love that now I'm like over here going, huh, I was doing witchcraft this whole time and didn't even realize it. I love when that happens. I love when witchcraft is just like, yeah, this has been witchcraft the whole time. Ding, there's your bell. um,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
literally, we have been talking for an hour, which I didn't even realize until I looked down. And I am so sad that we've been talking for an hour because I want to keep talking about all of this amazing stuff. So you're going to have to come back so we can talk more because this has been wonderful. But
Whenever you tell
before
me.
before we run out of time, I want to make sure that people know where to find you on social media. Do you have any classes or like book signings or anything that's coming up that like you want people to know about and all that good stuff?
If you Google my name, will be easier for anybody listening than me pronouncing it. Just look for Elhoim Leafar, or
Okay.
just look for my book Dream Witchery. You're gonna find me there. I am in all socials because I am like the gremlins. You just put water and they multiply. I am everywhere. And if you find my books and you are interested in my books, I suggest you look for my books in your closest bookstore,
Mhm.
local bookstores. If it's not in the bookstore, look in bookshop.org. After you pass all that, you can use Amazon if it's not another option. I don't have any classes or workshops confirmed right now. I will be in a couple of events, I think in September and October, but nothing to post yet. Every year we do in May our Sorcery Hour. Our Sorcery Hour is a small virtual event community that we do every year. It's very small. We try to keep it like 10, 12 practitioners. We teach a workshop each one of us, and a big amount of the ticket sold go to a very good cause every year. Also, we try to be like super ethical, super moral in our workshop. We try to teach things that people actually need. We keep the tickets like super low price for everybody to access, but anyway, we continue selling tickets and not making it for free because we try to compensate our presenters for their time, which is important too. So
Mhm.
we try to be so much ethical as we can. And that's in May every year. Except for that, please continue supporting this podcast and any podcast on witchcraft and magic, sorcery, or community that you find around because we don't have so many spaces around. A lot of our bookstores are closing ultimately, and what we have now are virtual spaces. So these virtual spaces need your support, need your promotion. It's not just listening to the podcast, it's also sharing the links on your podcast with everybody else. If you like this episode, or maybe you dislike this episode and you hate me. That's okay. That's cool. Look for another episode that you like and try to share that episode because we need more virtual spaces. And the few that we have, we need to try to support them and keep them alive. If we don't support our virtual spaces, this gonna end closing like it's happening right now with so many stores in the entire country.
Well, for everyone who's listening, I'm going to keep doing this podcast until either I physically can't anymore or nobody wants to talk to me. But even then, I'll probably still talk to y'all because I've always got something to talk about because I never shut up. Hence why I'm a podcaster. So because that's what I do. But also I love having voices like here on the show because that gives me the opportunity to learn, but also gives me the opportunity to let you guys learn from the sources that I'm also learning from. And also, I get to talk about their really awesome work that they do. And I'm not kidding. This book is a chunky book. Like it is, I don't even know how many pages it's over 300. I can tell you that.
Yeah, yeah,
It's a
it's my
chunky
biggest
book.
baby.
And it's beautiful. It's got really great little like art pieces in it. It's got amazing stories. Great spells, meditations, teas, everything you could possibly want. It is fantastic. You're going to learn so much, not only about South American culture, but you're also going to learn so much about that aspect of witchcraft, which, as you have stated, we don't get to hear a whole lot about because often,
Yeah.
as sad as it is, it kind of gets whitewashed by a lot of people who go down there and they're like, oh, look, I did the things. And it's like, aren't I smart now? And it's like, no, go back to where you came from,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah.
Like, thank you for talking about it, but like you could have done a TED talk, not a book. It would have been fine. So,
Yeah.
um,
Totally.
but this has been absolutely wonderful. Like I said, please come back because we have so much more great stuff to talk about. We got through like 2 or 3 of my questions and I have like 12. So you're going to have to come back so we can talk more about it. And
Perfect.
everyone who's listening, make sure you are taking care of yourselves, being kind to yourselves and to each other. And also, if you can't afford any of the books, make sure you check your local library. If they don't have a copy, request a copy because that also helps your authors too. And take care of yourselves. And I will see you all next time for another episode. Bye bye, everyone.
Hello, friends. So, as you know, I do a lot of community work as well, in addition to the show. So, if you're looking to deepen your practice with and connect with like minded witches like myself, or even get your questions answered, you should join the Discord. And the Discord has this beautiful community that I have built, and it offers some really great opportunities for witches to connect. Once a month, we host Temple Hours. I know, silly name, but it's true. We host a open discussion where you can ask your witchcraft, paganism, or even spiritual questions. And if you're curious about deity work, spellcraft, or if you just want to chat with other fellow practitioners like myself, because I usually will be there, Temple Hours is a space where you can come and learn and grow. The other one that we offer is the Divine Gathering. So every week we host a public devotional circle to honor our gods, share offerings, and strengthen our spiritual connections with the divine. So no matter who you work with, no matter where you are in your practice, this is a time for reverence and community support. So you should totally come join us in the Raven's Nook. It's a great place. It's a warm community. It is very welcoming, very chill and relaxed. And if you want to join us, which I hope that you will, there's a link in the show description, and I can't wait to see you there. So take care, everyone, and I'll see you all next time.
So, I just wanted to give a big shout out to all of my listeners and say thank you for being a loyal listener. So, if you love the show and you want to continue supporting what I do, you should come get a little deeper into the world with me. You should check out my Ko-fi page. There are several tiers that you can choose from if you would like to. And one of those tiers is the Raven tier. This gives you sneak peeks, discounts into the little shop there, and behind the scenes looks. The Wolves tier gives you even more than that, extended looks into my books, shows, cosplay projects, and even more special creative insights. And if you want to get real deep with me, there's the Shadow tier. That brings you to monthly devotionals or divination posts, voting power on new ideas, and surprise goodies when my energy and spoons allow, plus everything from the other tiers too. So if you'd like to walk a little closer with me, check out the link in the show description because I'd love to see you there, and thanks again for being such a loyal listener.